The borders of Syria and the Levant as we know it today were drawn after the Second World War by imperial powers. As time went on, the British and French empires collapsed and their influence in the region waned. However, far from freeing the region to self-determine, the empires of old were replaced by the rising influence of the USA and the USSR. As important strategically and as rich in resources as ever, the two superpowers vied for power in the region. The fall of imperial power structures led to a period of coups and rebellions. Egypt fell to Gamal Abdel Nasser after the Suez Crisis, and in 1961 and then 1963, coups in Syria saw the start of domination by the Ba'ath Party, who also gained power in Iraq. The area, always a powder keg, became embroiled in a series of wars and terrorism. The USA poured advanced weapons into Israel, while the USSR did likewise to the Arab states, who saw the imposition of the State of Israel as a theft of their land. When the USSR disintegrated, the tension still remained, though Egypt fell more under American influence and made a peace of sorts with Israel. Tyrants and terrorist organizations intentionally encouraged and exploited sectarianism, pitting previously coexistent Sunni and Shia Muslim populations against each other. As time went on, Russia began to again assert its power, and Syria was and remained a close ally of theirs. The terrorist organizations founded in the Middle East gained more power and influence by playing East against West and spread their operations to the rest of the world, particularly those countries with imperial history in the region such as the USA, Britain and France. In Iraq, the government of Saddam Hussein was removed by an American-led invasion and the country was left in a state of virtual civil war. Big states such as Iraq, Turkey and Saudi Arabia armed their respective Sunni or Shia groups, and those groups that had been kept at bay by Saddam Hussein expanded. In this mess came a hint of change known as the Arab Spring, but in most places its effects were short-lived. Beginning in Tunisia, the revolution sped. The Egyptian government felt only to be replaced by one little different. Between 2006 and 2011, Syria was facing its worst drought in 900 years. Nearly 85% of livestock died, and much of its farmland became unusable. Thanks to the mismanagement and corruption of the state of Bashar al-Assad, the problem of lack of water only got worse and worse. 1.5 million of its rural citizens were forced to relocate into increasingly crowded cities. Within those cities, water became scarce and there weren't close to enough jobs to provide for the new residents. In the city of Daraa, a group of teenage boys expressed their frustrations, writing graffiti borrowing the slogans of the Arab Spring. Their arrest and torture began massive protests, first in the city itself, then spreading to others following the path of the drought. The Syrian government, under the autocratic rule of Bashar al-Assad, reacted with bullets, beginning a vicious civil war. As his opponents fought back, he refused to give way, and with Russian help began a massive military campaign against his opponents. All the other groups in the region entered the fray. There are not two sides to the Syrian war, but many, all fighting for different causes. The state wants to regain control over the entire land. The Kurdish minority wants their own state in the northeast of the country. Fundamentalist Islamic groups want to restore a caliphate, a Muslim state covering much of the Middle East. Others are fighting for democratic rights or just for whatever they can get out of it. As usual, the big arms supplying nations are selling weapons to all sides. Russia, the USA and the UK are dropping bombs on one side or the other. It has turned into one of the biggest humanitarian disasters of all time, and as of when this video goes up, there is still no end in sight.